This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the Paradise Podcast.
I am your host, Ryan Michelle Bethay, with my husband, Sterling.
What's up?
Join us here on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus, where we'll discuss each episode with the cast and crew of Paradise. I'll be getting all the secrets from Dan Fogelman, James Marsden, Shailene Woodley, Julianne Nicholson, and Sterling Kelby-Brown. Woo! Paradise, the official podcast, is now streaming.
And stream Paradise on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus.
Welcome back to Speaking with Confidence, the podcast that helps you build the soft skills that lead to real results. Communication, storytelling, public speaking, and showing up with confidence in every conversation that counts. I'm Tim Newman, a recovering college professor turned communication coach, and I'm thrilled to guide you on a journey to becoming a powerful communicator. If you've ever looked confident on the outside, but felt like a complete imposter internally, this episode is going to hit home. Today's guest is Joanna Zhang. Joanna is an international speaker and an award-winning entrepreneur recognized with a Stevie International Business Award. As the founder of The Operations Genius, she created the world's first fractional VA service with a plug-and-play team model designed to free leaders from overwhelm. Through her Empower to Grow movement, Joanna is passionate about helping entrepreneurs discover their soul-aligned journey, embrace their authentic voice, and step fully into their genius with confidence. Joanna, welcome to Speaking with Confidence. I'm really looking forward to talking to you today.
Thank you very much for having me, and we'll spend a great time together, I believe.
Yes, we will. And before we get started, I need to let my listeners know that congratulations is definitely in order. You know, your business, Operations Genius, won the Company of the Year award for the best in Business Awards International. Is that right?
Oh, this year. Yeah, that's this year. Yeah. We won another award. Thank you so much. Yeah.
That's awesome. And that just means you're doing good stuff. So, you know, I'm happy that you guys are doing that and you're being recognized for the hard work that you're doing, and especially in this space, because it's sometimes, you know, you may make it look easy, but it's not easy, especially overcoming some of the things that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, that's so true. But actually, when you're talking about it, you did mention about imposter syndrome, about look good outside, confident, and feel imposter inside. I personally totally went through that journey. Even with awards, like last year we won to the Stevie International Business Award. At that time, even that my intention was like, I need to prove something, right? So I was in that state. But once I really got the award, I was with the unbelievable think, oh, is that it? Is that real? And so I totally reflect about, you know, looking good outside, confident outside, but it's inside a doubt about myself. But this year when we won it, and I feel like it's not a certain, it's feel like I feel grateful. And used to when people actually introduce me about all those titles, at the beginning, I went through a few stages of imposter, right? At the beginning, when people say about introductions, I'll feel like, oh my gosh, is that me? Really? That feeling? And then I went through oh, whatever. Like, just, but now I truly can feel my own transformation is when I hear those words that resonate with me, anchor with me, and so in the core with me. And that's who I am, what I did, and I celebrate myself, trusting my value. So the imposter syndrome is gone. So totally, I can feel my own journey of passing through those periods. But thanks for mentioning about this award.
I really don't like hearing people say good things about me, because it just makes me feel, okay. I'm like, you just okay. Let's just move on. Let's get to whatever it is we're going to do. But I'm the exact same way. So I had a guest on a couple weeks ago, and they said, well, I'm not going to give you a bio. You just make something up for yourself. I said, if you sure you really want me to make something up for myself? For you, because I'll do that if you want. And then you make it even more embarrassing if you just give me something, the things that you want me to say, and we'll take care of it. I think a lot of times, we put so much emphasis on our work, and we don't necessarily really want to be recognized for it, even though we are doing good work. And I think it is a sign of growth for you and others to just accept it and embrace the good things that have come because of the good work that you're doing.
Thank you very much. Actually, talking about that, I went through when someone compliment me before, say, Joanna, you're great at this, that, and then I used to be like, oh, no, no, that's okay. It's really like a fake, humble, like I couldn't even accept it, the compliment, But gradually, I felt like when I actually practice more and more the true confidence side, I found out that the true life lesson is about comparison part, because I used to compare myself with others, and particularly compare my weakness with others' strength. How ironic is that, right? So if I compare my weakness with other strength, I forgot all my own strength. One day, my spiritual mentor actually asked me, so what is your strength? What is your goodness? Like, tell me. Suddenly, everything comes to my mind was my weakness. I was, oh my gosh, I feel so weird. I didn't know this is all my weakness. And she said, right, because you're focusing on them.
Right.
And then I realized, oh my, because of this comparison and because of my focus, and I started to really truly look in within myself and to really embrace all the light and shadow and goodness, strength and weakness, whatever it is. I start to accept them as it is. And I start to shift my mindset and focus into what I can do better. And for the weakness, I still accept them and then improve them according to my own pace, right? But I stopped comparing that with others, especially with others' strength. And I found that I actually gained a lot of strength and core confidence back to my true self. And I start to believe my unique value as a self-value, uniqueness. Because I think I used to be in the doing model, like the do, like action, doing things that seems like I need to prove something. And after I do that, I don't feel fulfilled because I feel like it's empty, that feeling. So that's literally, I look confident outside because I had so much external validations to make me look good. But inside, I was totally empty and lack of confidence. I was in that state. So I totally understand where it's coming from. But now, because after the practice of shift all the focus back to myself, with the foundation of acceptance of all aspects of myself, I start to trust myself totally now. So I can say I can be self-confident in the core and to deliver this kind of message with calm and joy and true confidence.
Yeah. And how does that really kind of play into inner energy? You and I, when we spoke before, we talked a little bit about how sometimes, your inner energy is how we show up, as opposed to, adjusting that and coming with, instead of adjusting that and coming at it from a place of value and power and confidence.
I know what you mean now. Yeah, so that's so true, because everything actually starts from inner that reflects outer. As I mentioned, I'm not afraid of public speaking. I used to be on the stage, perform, like singing, dancing. I love to share those energy on the stage. I'm just naturally very happy. And I think I had a lot of experience on the stage. So talking about public speaking, I'm not afraid to talk in front of people. However, at the time when I wasn't really confident, I still really care about whether I look professional, whether I look well, I can provide value. I'm concerned about a lot of things, when I deliver the message. And I on the stage, because I'm so good at acting, so I can wear on my mask and deliver those things and looking like very confident. But I believe the energy can be different, because the energy will pass the audience, they can feel as well. It's kind of like a limited shine, limited delivery. How do I put it this way? Because I wasn't confident enough, I didn't give myself love enough. So when I deliver, try all my best to look good outside, my inner is drained. So, which means when I pass on this message and this energy is not at like a limited, endless, energetic feel, right? So that has a limit. And once I finish, I feel drained and I need to recharge like that way. However, now because I reverse the sequence of really look after myself, love myself, respect myself, accept all aspects of myself, and build a self-confidence, when I'm on the stage, I'm naturally just being myself. I don't need to try harder. I don't
Right.
need to try anymore. I just be myself and naturally just glow and flow. And that energy is actually coming from the divine, is unlimited energy.
Mhm.
And then people can feel it. It's more like it's amplified in a way without any effort.
Yeah.
I will put this way. So inner state is the engine and the true motivation of really sharing the message with the impact.
Yes. So was there a moment, or was there a time when you realized that to make that switch? What was it? Was it something that happened gradually, or was that kind of an aha moment? You said, "Wow, that's the shift that needs to be made."
I have to say it's a aha and a journey.
Okay.
because because I used to think I was confident because I look confident. I felt something not that right, but I thought I was confident. But I
Mhm.
actually had a soul awakening 4 years ago. And when I had an event, and my spiritual mentor said to me, Joanna, you're so harsh and cruel to yourself. I said, what? I thought I love myself. That you don't really believe in yourself. I said, oh,
Right.
really? I couldn't even believe that, because I somehow numb and myself make me believe that I'm confident, but actually inner it's empty. It's not strong, because all my attention is outer. I
Right.
put so much attention to other people. I used to be people pleasing. I wanted to make
Mhm.
other people happy. I wanted to provide to others, but at the end of the only person I forgot is myself. So I
Right.
put so much expectation, everything on myself. I forgot about this focus. So from then on, I feel like aha moment comes because I wasn't confident. I accept it, I recognize it, and I decided to face it. And how I do it is a journey. It's a part of the spiritual ascension journey that really truly started to love myself step by step. And it's
Right.
not about the speaker. Let's put it this way: we need a lot of skills, we need a lot of techniques and methods and strategies to deliver the talk. But the inner state is another thing that we shouldn't neglect, because
Right.
that's the powerhouse. That's where the true energy coming from. And plus all those techniques, we can really deliver the message out with this energy. Yeah, so I think that's both ways. It's aha and journey.
Yeah. That's interesting, and I like the way you explain it, because I think there's sometimes, and I'm just kind of thinking about me as for example, there's times when I definitely feel it, you know, and then there's times when I have to take a step back and get myself in that mindset to be able to feel it. So, um, it's not something that is, at least from my perspective, it's not something that you always have it or you don't always have it. It can kind of come and go, and you have to actually, put yourself in that mindset and be in that mindset. And the more you do that, the much easier it is to get back into that
That's so
feeling.
true. That's all
Mhm.
coming from self-awareness and to look
Yeah.
after our own feelings. A lot of time our brain can overtaking the road and then to
Hmm.
really cover any feelings and the stance or message, guidance, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we tend to somehow go to a module like in the mode of like a machine, like you can't stop and then doing things gradually lost the passion. I actually even see some speakers step on this journey and doing the talk just for the sake of doing the talk. And
Mm.
they gradually lose the spark because
Yeah.
the thing exactly what you're saying is about that. So I truly hope that we constantly be aware of our own feelings and then respect our own emotions and look after ourselves. Give us a space. If we need to tune down, we tune down, we rest, we go with
Right.
our cycle to recharge and
Mhm.
reflect and just thrive. Let's put it this way. Yeah.
That's really a great way to put it. You've got to, just like anything else, you got to step back, recycle, and recharge to be able to get back to where we want to be.
Yeah.
It's just natural. You, so the people that that may feel like they appear confident but don't actually feel confident, what are the signs that they should be looking for to recognize that and to start making some of these changes?
Hmm. That's really good questions. Because of personal experience, that's why I can share some of the feelings. If when you finish something, we constantly feel like, especially the high achievers, like action takers, like have a goals and set up goals, and after achieving the goals, somehow feel like, oh, is that it? What's next?
Yeah.
I'm not like an overall joyful or happy or enjoy those sort of things. Feel like kind of like empty. So that's resulting actually with constantly achieving something, looking really good outside and very confident, but internally feeling empty.
Yeah.
And there's something I gradually changed is about the gratitude side and the celebration side.
Yeah.
Because I used to feel like, oh, I achieved it, and that's nothing about it. It's just simple, easy, and feel nothing, And sometimes if something comes too easy, it can feel that way as well because it's come too easy. So that's why I started to really gratitude and appreciate the challenges now. It doesn't mean that come on, all the challenges come on. I started to realize the reason behind it. A lot of time, it's all about during the process what we grow out of it. And the result is just, and it's like a milestone for us to recognize. Okay, so we've got this far. Like that. But the main golden nuggets is always in the process. But often if the high achiever, we actually only look at the results, of course, this feel like I forgot all the journey I've gone through. I forgot all the same as mentioned. I forgot all my strength. I only look at the weakness. What's next? What I can do better. I'm not enough. I need to do more. Like that kind of feeling. So if we actually can recognize what actually, that regardless of the result, as far as during this process, we tried our best, we learned something, and there's something we can take away to be a better self down the track and then utilize it. And that's about it. That's the meaningful value journey we've gone through. And then after that, celebrate as well. Because I used to not to celebrate, I don't have this feeling of celebrating. So I'm so used to feel like, nothing. So, but now every little thing, even just pat on my back and say, well done, Joanna, well done. Even the little thing started to really look after myself. I gradually feel like I can really celebrate any moment now. Even now, close to the Christmas, I put on my nails as a Christmas theme.
I love that.
Those little things. It's
Right.
it's a celebration, and because our life, we understood on this world is not just about work and achievement or those sort of things outer. It's about how we feel, lead the life, and to really be it. I'm in the stage of gradually changing from doing to being. It's amazing feeling. It's a very interesting feeling too. I have to stop and slow down a lot more. However, if my used to in my older states, if I was in that state, I will feel so anxious. I feel like, oh, I need to do something to prove something. But now, even by being here and talk to the people aligned, share the message and slow down with myself, mindfulness, I feel so peaceful and just believe in my value, my existence. I have a value. And that's where the true confidence comes from.
Yeah. So when did you notice that you really started to kind of celebrate those small wins? Going from the all right, I achieve that next, check. When did you notice that you really started to slow down and celebrate those small wins? Because again, that you mentioned it's so important, and for a lot of people, that's very, very hard to do because especially in society today, you either win or you lose, right? You win or you lose, and that's it. There's nothing in between. So when did you realize that you were actually started to be able to do that?
Wow, actually, win or lose, that's totally you're spot on. And I have to say, actually, win or lose is even not matter now for me. I'm looking at it, the whole beautiful process is in between. The result is really something for us to learn. But anyway, I think when actually after the soul awakening, I have a lot of life lessons because I didn't look after myself, and the celebration is one of the lessons that I need to learn. That to really pat on my back.
Uh-huh.
I did a lot, but I didn't recognize myself. So the confidence is not about what other people say. It's how we say, how we feel
Right.
about ourselves. Regardless how many people say, you're so great, this and that. But if we don't feel it, it means nothing. It means nothing. But at the same time, if I truly believe that's meaning something for me, I'm happy, I'm grateful, I'm celebrating. Doesn't matter what other people say, the bad words, negativity doesn't bother me anymore. So that's both ways. I think at the end of the day, it's all about how we're feeling about ourselves. So I start to realize that, and someone teach me some very simple technique about pat my back. Just little things. Well done, Joanna. Well done. Just little thing. It doesn't have to be like a big event you throw out, always like spend a lot of money. It doesn't have to be that way. Celebration, there's no format. It's a state. It's an action of recognizing of ourselves and our value. And of course, my spiritual mentor had different ways, always remind me different lessons to celebrate. And even I created a happy fund, me fund. Like, want to spend money, create a fund just for me called a happy fund. It was something that when I want to celebrate, reward myself, I use that fund to do something I'm really happy about. So that's all little things we can actually utilize. But the most important thing is that we need to understand how important it is. It is not always about big events, throwing on money and a big budget and a look good outside. It's just simple action can change a lot.
Yeah. You're so right. You're so right on that. Let's talk about communication style a little bit. For years you worked in a male-dominated industry, and you mentioned that at one point you were operating in a very masculine communication style. What did that look like for you at the time?
Oh, wow. Wow, I used to be very masculine. I didn't realize that since I was young, I already operated as masculine as default. But anyway, I believe many women probably the same, especially in the business field. When we actually working, we used to be a provider, be the action taker, be the achiever, and we wanted to do something. The masculine energy, it is like that. There's no right or wrong, good or bad. Okay, he's just talking about the energy. So when I first started working with my team, I'm like a title leader stage, which means I'm the founder, I'm the CEO. You got to listen to me. So my tone is more like, I need this, get done, no excuse. Even like that, okay? And if something is not according to my expectation, why is that? How can that happen? It's more like a blame. It's more like the tone is kind of blame others. And then I realize why I actually had that feeling is because at the time, I always blame myself. So I realized something that if there's attitude we actually for others, is actually always something towards ourselves. Because I didn't accept my true self, right? And didn't really appreciate my value. So I always blame myself. Why did I make mistake? Why can I do better? Why I'm not good enough? What I can do. So all those from lacking and fear, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because
as a chef, I know flavor doesn't begin in the kitchen. It begins on the land. And Westhome's nature-led Australian Wagyu is a story written in the landscape of Northern Australia. Cooking is storytelling, and Westhome Wagyu carries a story of Northern Australia itself, raw, powerful, and deeply authentic. It's a testament to the passion and care raised in the rhythm of Northern Australia. I'm Chef Maylin from 88 Club in Los Angeles, and I invite you to visit westhome.com/Maylin to learn more. And taste a story only Westhome nature-led Australian Wagyu can tell. That's westhome.com/MEILIN.
Because of the attitude, that's why I treat others like that. My spiritual mentor mentioned one thing to me I feel is so valuable. She said, whatever we wanted to give out to others, we've got to give to ourselves first. Imagine if we don't have it for ourselves, we don't have a capacity for giving to others.
It's forgiving
like
it, right?
Love.
Oh my.
Yeah, forgiveness, confidence. Sorry. Confidence, forgiveness, trust, tolerance, and support, love, care, patience, all those sort of things. If we don't give it to ourselves, how can we give to others? Imagine that. We don't even know how to do that properly.
That's such an interesting concept. I never thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right. You can't give away something that you don't have. right? You just
Sure.
that's
It's very simple. Okay?
it is, yeah, and
It's a simple
and
truth.
it's also funny how we make things more complicated than they need to be sometimes, and if you just look at the simple, just natural, simple thing, the answers are right there. Yeah,
That's it.
it's interesting. When did you actually realize that you needed that feminine energy in your communication, and what did your team see in that shift in you?
Right. I naturally actually evolved into a serving leader after title
Mhm.
leader stage because I had a lot of challenges by communicating people with that way. Some people can get upset and then they finish work and then turn over and a lot of dramas happening. And I realized something I need to change within myself. And I just started to understand I need to support others, give them support other than just instructing them. So I went to the stage of that stage. It was serving leader started to give other people space and support. But however, by saying that, it wasn't really truly feminine as yet. I would just feel like I need to make some change, flip through. Maybe this way can look better. However, that way make me started to become people pleasing, and people started to step on my boundary. Yeah. So the true feminine energy is really after I had this soul ascension, and after some life lessons, actually I learned from my relationship. Uh, because I used to be controlling freak as a masculine, then I gradually learned to be feminine, like a supportive, understanding, and then but I allow others to step on my boundary and happen in my relationship as well. So I've learned that I need to really make some change again. So, and now with that, you see, life lessons actually reflecting all aspects of our life. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
just in the work or in the individual area. So when I learned that, I gradually started to balance the compassion and the boundary, because especially when I love myself more and more, I just have a stronger boundary naturally. I used to, for example, with my kids, I can be very harsh on them, like criticize them, and at the same time I spoil them. But that's exactly like that.
Yeah.
But now I can really see where they at. I can be calmly deliver a message and be certain, assertive. So that's
Right.
calmness and assertiveness is coming from the boundary. It's very strong, and it's just naturally happen after I started loving myself because I started to respect my own feeling. I won't tolerate others to step on it anymore. There's one sentence I really like. It say, we don't always get what we want, but we always get what we're tolerant for. So I've
Right.
learned a lesson. I started to make decision to make changes. I now transform into a spiritual leader stage, which is balancing the compassion
Mhm.
and the boundary. By saying that my feminine energy is gradually coming back in a way of being vulnerable, acceptance, and still go with the flow. So I
Right.
truly believe, understand what is a feminine now. It's not just a look feminine. It's energy wise. It's not rushing out, but it's actually still stay and accept. So
Right.
now that's why I can start to accept others' compliments now.
Mhm.
I don't have to like that. I accept. so so it's truly can see me. It's an energy change as well. It's a
Yeah.
balancing act. Mm.
Yeah. It really is, and I don't know that we ever master communication or we ever become, amazing communicators. I think it's always kind of a work in progress. But if you can utilize both when it's appropriate and when it's needed and when it's going to provide the most value and those types of things, that's when you really start to become a truly great communicator. Knowing the situations and knowing the people and knowing the message that and how to say it with the terminology to get it across.
Yeah, that's so true. And also my inspiration on this perspective of communication is my spiritual mentor. I have to say, I come across, she speak to many, because we went through so many soul awakening events, we actually sit with the person who wants to do that as an audience and as a supporter, as a soul warrior. Every single soul is uniquely different. You're not just talking about a mission, passion, purpose, uniquely designed. Also, their challenges, their stories, their journey, every single one are different. Everyone's state are different. We can see our spiritual mentor can sense where they are and use the relevant skills and technique to guide them through and then to help them. But I learned something is as a foundation, as a communicator, is that we do need to truly understand and respect the other person's perspective.
Yes.
Because if we don't have that truly in us, it will be just a skill as manipulation. I put this way, because our intention is not truly from care and love, but
Right.
manipulation. I just want to put it really right, because I used to do my business as transactional. I come from
Right.
there. I was like,
Yeah.
I have a lot of skills. I can use that, but depends our intention. So if we truly have that with love and care and use the right technique, we can truly help a lot of people and ourselves as well, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And getting the team to buy in to the one vision is going to be good for everybody. It's going to be good for the business, and the business is going to grow. But it doesn't, like you said earlier, it doesn't necessarily have to be about business either. It could be in your personal life, in your personal relationships, your friends, your family, and that's going to help those relationships grow as well.
Oh, 100%. Everything is a relationship, even with the team members. And that's why nowadays I feel like a lot of business started to work with only purely with AI. I just feel like this is a trend. We should really embrace human and AI together. AI, yes, there's no rejections, no emotions. We don't even need to care about our communication skills. But at the same token, like what you're saying, skills are important, right? If we neglect that part of the skills, as well as really truly care about the other soul, and with the respect and to learn the life lessons, we're missing out some growth opportunities, to be honest. It looks simple, easy, fast, but actually there will be some loss there as well, for sure. So I truly think there's a movement. Next movement I'm driving is to really embrace AI and human working together.
You're so right. And you said something one time that you don't speak from the brain, you speak from the flow. How can someone invite more of that, into their communications without feeling awkward or forced?
There's two ways. I naturally, actually, when I was young, that was one of the natural ways. Actually, I got a guidance from the divine. I'll put this way, on my source, because I'm very inspirational. I want to create something, as something suddenly come up, and I just follow that. I somehow become part of me as a habit. But by saying that, probably any of us may have different journey, but you can start to recognize some signs. Probably some signs we neglect or reject for a long time. There's something like the sparkle, the kind of feeling, and the things that just spit out of mouth. You don't even know what, without thinking whether it's right or wrong, because literally there's no right or wrong.
Right.
It's about everyone looking at a different perspective. If we can really recognize that, and to really follow the guidance to say something to start with, that can be a good start. And of course, for reflect, if you go back to really listen to that, and if you feel like, I think not about judging self about that part. Let me put it this way. When I talk about right or wrong, is because a lot of time we have a judgment. And judgment is coming from the judgment on ourselves.
Right.
And I wanted to put back to this again. If we truly started to love ourselves, accept all of ourselves, we will find out we have less judgment. I'll give you an example. I used to be angry with my older son. I'm always angry with him. I didn't know why. And then later I found, there's something on him. It's my symptom. It's the same pattern I show up on myself. Because I was so angry with myself. I didn't like myself, right? So I was angry at him instead. So since then, I started, when I really truly practice self-love, you will find out your judgment will be less and less. So if we recognize those signs, also have less and less judgment, we will gradually go into the flow with the confidence to do more and more in the public.
I love how you put it, letting the judgment go. And it's not easy to do. It's something you have to work on, and you have to be you have to be willing to be coached to do that as well. Because a lot of times, at least for me, I don't realize that that's where it's coming from until somebody points it out. And you say, yeah, you're right. And now you've got to come back and clean that. You got to clean that up on a number of different levels. So understand, like you said, it's not always right or wrong. It just is, and be okay with that. And the whole idea of not necessarily speaking from the brain and trying to be perfect and trying to find the correct words and the right terminology and the right, sentence structure and this, that, and the other thing. It's so much more freeing when you let some of that stuff go and you just let it go.
That's so true. Actually, when you're talking about, I remember one simple exercise I did, and it made me break through different stages as well. Because I used to think I used to need a script on the screen and then read it out. And I feel like I can't deliver some speech naturally. I wasn't like this before, to be honest with you, especially when I start my business and doing some social media. We need to make some videos, right? I need to write it down, and script down, and read it, and with a screen, whatever, because I didn't believe I can deliver a smooth, fresh concept to the others. And then there was one day I was in the workshop, and they had a task for every single one. They said, all right, now everybody put up your phone just in front of yourself, do a 1-minute video and send to your public, like a social media right now. Everybody in this room will start to like each other, because of the exercise, that actually making me say, okay, so whatever, I just do it, no, so
right.
what, I did it, and I put it on social media. Look at it. It's all right. I can do it.
Exactly.
A lot of the time, I feel like it's like fear is holding us back, or feel it's still terrible. I don't feel like, but once we do it, a lot of time we'll find out, oh, is that it? It's not that hard, actually.
It's not that hard, right?
It's just fear holding us back. Yeah, give it a try.
Yeah,
you may surprise yourself.
And especially if it's something that you already know, you don't have to. It's not like you've got to do a whole bunch of research or take a whole lot of notes on a 60-second, 90-second thing that you already know about. Just let it go, let it fly. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and there will be an improvement and growth, of course, during this journey.
Right.
Even myself, I came from that state. I used to sing and dance. I used to be doing that. I didn't speak on the stage before, so for speaking in the public is still new. So I need to personally overcome some barriers of myself, be on the public eye, stop judging myself, stop caring what other people say, and a lot of inner work. It's a journey, but we got to start somewhere. Maybe audience, whomever is listening to this, think about something you're really afraid to do and have this strength and courage to read. Just fuck it. Just do it. Let's see what's happening.
Exactly.
Just do it. You may surprise yourself. Seriously.
Exactly. And that's really gets into, especially the younger generations, right? They're often they're blocked internally, right? So what would you say would be the biggest confidence wound you see the younger generation carrying around with them that's keeping them blocked?
Everyone may have a different lesson, of course, but in this era, I think the social media and a lot of emphasis or the influence from external world that has a lot of different noise can mislead the young generation a lot. Because of that, what I want to feel like is that a lot of negative influence can actually guide them into a stage where they really focus on the alter thing. It's even stronger than before. So probably under these big circumstances from external, they feel they need to be up somewhere and look a certain way or be doing something, feel successful, good, or confident. That's external influence as a big environment. At the same token, probably from our parents, like the kids' parents' point of view, because we all have our own ones, our own life lessons. We didn't really grow out of it, and we don't know how to love ourselves, a lot of us. So when my son, when they were young, before my soul awakening, I was like, that kind of parent, like, how to say, very critical on them, very strict and compare and, like frustration, all those emotions, I had that as well. So if my children shows up some symptoms of losing the self-confidence, I totally understand. And part of the reason was me as well. And that probably that could be part of their life lessons to experience and go through. However, the turnaround point can be every soul has our own free will, has our own decision. And that's what divine source actually give us. Is that regardless of what we go through and what kind of environment, what kind of stage or what kind of influence, at the end of the day, decision is ourselves.
Right.
Whether we want to choose fear or desire, or whether we want to choose love and care, is ultimately our own choice. So I think at the same token, the source of divine, even everybody else, they still believe every single soul have their own right to make choice. And I just wholeheartedly hope everyone can start to love self more and more, start to look inner more and more, really choose love and care anymore. Because trust me, I've been to the fear and desire side. That's not beautiful. That's not fun. That's very painful. Very suffering. I've gone through that. I now appreciate that experience, because if I didn't experience that, I wouldn't be able to be empathy on others if they going through this. However,
Right.
my case has told me I can make decision. I can have a courage. I can take actions to make changes, and
Yes.
life can be different.
It can
And
be.
that
but
applies
you-
to every single one of us.
And you said it, you have to take action. Nothing happens until you take action. You can think about it, you can talk about it, you can do all these other things, but nothing happens until you take action. That's something we talk about here all the time. You have to actually do
Yes.
something about it. Joanna, thank you so much for dropping some really good information this afternoon. Where's the best place for people to connect with you?
Right. I think the best way to find me is on LinkedIn. So if you put my name Joanna Zhang, you can see my show up. If there are many of me, just put operations beside me. I believe I'll show up. So I love to connect with as many as of you, and just as a connection and collaboration, and we can start from there.
Thank you so much. I'll put those links in the show notes so everybody has them, and that way we get you to the right person.
Thank you.
So, but again,
Thank you.
thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I really do appreciate
Thank
it, and we'll talk
you.
to you soon. Be sure to visit speakingwithconfidencepodcast.com to get your free ebook, Top 21 Challenges for Public Speakers and How to Overcome Them. You can also register for the Forming for Public Speaking course. Always remember, your voice has the power to change the world. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.